to come back and split decision Jan Blachowicz is pretty impressive. But AJ, we got to address the elephant in the room, right? There was a little bit of controversy going into the decision here, split decision. A lot of people thought, upon immediate feedback of watching it, robbery, Jan Blachowicz should have won the fight. Rounds 1 and rounds 3 to Jan, round 2 to Alex Pereira. I think it's a little more complicated than that. We can even pull up the MMA decisions if need be, but I need your take first. What did you think about the decision, and how close was this fight truly?
Well, just a little clarity, Derek. More often than not, when I'm watching these fights at home, me and my later having conversation, so I don't watch it with audio until like the post-fight presser comes on, or I'll have it low. So I'm never really tuned into what the announcers are saying. Sometimes, more often than not, there's other things going on. I just like watching the fights like a true fan, seeing my own outtake of it. And by my own take of what was going on last night, I thought it was a robbery. I thought Jan Blachowicz won the fight. I was convinced. I was like, damn, he definitely won round 1. He had the majority of the control of the entire fight, basically. Except when he was standing, he was in control. So I was like, man, I got to rewatch this fight this morning. When I did rewatch this fight this morning, I was convinced it was the right man won the fight. Alex Pereira did enough, especially with damage. And you said, Derek, something in specific on the pre-show. Damage reigns supreme in this era of MMA that's going on right now, and I'm here for it. I love that. I hate the control that wins, but if you're putting more damage on your opponent, you should get the win, and that's what Pereira did, bro. He came in and he laid some serious hammers down, and even when he was in danger, he wasn't really taking much damage. So I think that's where the big thing right here is. And you can even see, I don't know if it's damage versus not, but a lot of these scorers are also weighing it to Pereira as well. Yeah. Derek, did you think it was a robbery upon initial inspection?
When the fight ended, I was like, I thought Pereira won the fight because I thought he did enough. Now, if you're telling me, do I think that, or did I have a feeling that other people would look at the fight and say, yeah, probably Jan won? Yeah, absolutely. Especially on Twitter, everyone is super mad. Jan won the fight. And I'm like, I get it, though. But I get it if this was like a couple years ago, because that was the game plan. You get the big takedown in round 3, you'll win the fight. And then after a while, we're like, all right, no, it can't work that way. You know, whoever lands the most damage, they should win the fight. Doesn't matter if you get the takedown or not. I think that the biggest thing that played into all of this that like gave Alex Pereira the win too is just look at how tired Jan looked in the fight. He looked exhausted. He looked gassed after round 1. So both dudes dead tired. I just think that the perception and the visuals played a little more towards Alex Pereira, even because he was trying to get up from being taken down and no damage was landing. So I thought Pereira got it done. But I think that this really did give off some red flags, and it let us know that while Pereira is such a specimen and an athlete that he can come in with less than 10 fights, right, total or whatever, beat the champion in middleweight, beat up a former champion in light heavyweight who beat the champion. So this is like extra petty, right, because you beat the only guy that beat Israel Adesanya. But I don't think that he really can make it in this top 3, top 4 light heavyweight division right now with the lack of grappling. Grappling develops and gets a little bit better. I think we got a shot. But right now, bro, Yuri Prochazka even, I think, is able to take him down and do some work with him. Jamal Hill, I don't think that he's going to want to really invite the wrestling, but I think that's going to be an avenue. And then we know for sure Magomed Ankalaev is going to give this man massive problems if he can get the fight to the ground. So that's my take on the whole entire perspective. Do you feel the same way about the future trajectory of Poatan? Do you think that his success is almost a detriment right now, or what do you think?
A little bit, Derek. His success is just a little bit of a detriment because you're right. He is one of the top at right now, 10 fights in or whatever it is. He's one of the top fighters in the 205-pound class. But then you go against the people you're talking about, and there might be a good fight. The Yuri fight, that'll probably be a really good one because Yuri's willing to stand and trade. He's willing to have that Bushido moment, warrior against warrior. Jamal Hill, arguably not the best wrestling. He still has some good stuff in there, but he's going to look to strike. So there can be some good fights there. But I feel like this is just setting up your boy, brother. The dark horse of the 205-pound class, Magomed Ankalaev, to just reign supreme on all these dudes with his power style of wrestling, which we saw. Pereira not able to just stand up. He wasn't able. He was starting to do the right moves. He was shucking them off. There's things he was doing well. He just wasn't able to fully commit and fully finish what he was starting and just ended up being controlled. You do that against a guy like Magomed Ankalaev, bro, you're going to be having a rough time just drowning in those deep waters. So I think I think, Derek, if we're able to see that growth of that wrestling game, we'll see some nice things with Pereira. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not really, holding my or counting my chickens before they hatch in that basket. Are you? Like, do you think he's really going to turn? And I mean, he does have Glover's help, but is Paeta going to turn into that all-star jiu-jitsu player? He's going to be sweeping, turning, doing all the things we've seen people do, and then stand up and start cracking on him.
Well, I don't think he can turn into a true sprawl and brawl guy until you get some years in terms of like jujitsu, heavy, strictly doing that stuff. We know you could strike. You know you're a fantastic kickboxer. But even when Blachowicz had him in his guard, Paeta didn't try to get feet on the hips. He didn't close the guard. He didn't really do anything. He just kind of let his legs kind of hang there. So I was like, yeah, there's still development that needs to be made, but you can't be mad. This is what you should expect of Alex Paeta right now. Like, everyone has these lofty expectations. Like, he's going to all of a sudden become a black belt or something. Like, come on, give him some time. This is a world-class kickboxer. Jan Blachowicz, though, listen, man, I really do think this fight plays out 10 out of 10 times. I think that he wins probably like 7 out of 10 times if this fight is not at elevation. That's the big key. He looked exhausted, bro. He looked so tired, and I was a little surprised because Jan normally doesn't get that tired, even though he did a little more grappling than normal to start, and Potan is a big man. I just think that everything came to fruition right here. The stars aligned, and Pereira got the win. He was able to. He showed the dog. I think that's what's important. But we'll see what the future prospects do. And AJ, I'll tell you this much: if you would have told me that all the fights on this main card would have been a finish, except for this fight, I would have been like, "No, you're crazy. You're lying." Are you surprised that this got to a decision? And what does it mean that Pereira was able to successfully go 15 full minutes with the big guys at 205?
The big guys at 205 that are knocking people out left and right, bro. It speaks volumes, but it also speaks volumes to Blachowicz. A lesser man would have gone down to all those leg kicks. He was carrying a grapefruit on his ankle, and like I said, a lesser man would have gone down. So this mind-blowing. Both these guys have absolute power, but apparently those chins reign supreme as well. I would have been shocked if you'd have said this is the only one that doesn't go to a finish.
That's right, but Potan gets it done. Alex Paeta plus 400 split decision victory over Jan Blachowicz. The decision bettors were probably sweating it hard over Paeta, but he got the job done. All right, man.